Welcome back to the 4A Baseball Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thursday, April 13th, 2023, and we're here to talk about baseball. Hi, Steves. Hi, Tom. How are you guys doing today?
It's baseball day. How you doing, Stevs?
It's baseball day. Nah, baseball's a fun sport at the end of the day, right? And that's what we're here to talk about. And we had a couple interesting series at the end of the day, and I'm excited to talk about this week of baseball because we're about 2 weeks in now.
Yeah, so this week, I think we're starting to see a little bit more team identity. We're obviously going to go through. We've kind of adjusted our format a little bit. Steves and I kind of thought that we might have been going for a little bit too long, just ramping about some teams. But Tom, as you missed last episode, you missed our first World Series simulator. And as we had an even number of people, we ran Steves through the simulator. Can you guess who won his World Series?
Judging by the look on his face, I don't know if it was a good team or not. Or the San Francisco Giants?
No, what?
They
Oh,
wouldn't have made it as of last week.
yeah, you're looking at me funny. I don't know. I got excited for a second. Got
Yep.
my emotions took over. I'm going with the Angels. Was it the Angels?
They would
Were they
not have
even in
made the
the
playoffs.
God, I want to guessing hot take. Okay, the Rays then.
Yeah,
Yes.
This is shocking. Boring take. Okay.
it was the
It,
Dodgers and the Rays, to be completely fair.
it
I
was
couldn't
the
remember.
Padres and the Rays.
Oh, I was wrong. I don't remember. It's one of
Yeah.
those days.
Yeah. So we're gonna kick it off just briefly highlighting what happened in each series over the weekday series. And we got some talking points we want to go through. So kick it off. Who's got the AL today?
I had the AL, I believe.
Al.
Al
Uh,
Al Jefferson. So White Sox versus Twins. Let's start over there. Cease goes 5, only gives up 1 run, looks good. Maeda looked good, not as good as his Marlins start, got kind of shaken up. And big injury. Tim Anderson got hurt in the sixth. He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks with a knee sprain. So I think we talked about it last episode. They're out a couple guys with the injury. In game two, Michael A. Taylor hit a walk off on a bunt single, and Hanser Alberto just like threw the ball into Narnia. Um, it was a great matchup between Lopez and Lance Lynn. It My question for this is the Arias Lopez trade a win-win so far? And we'll talk about it a little later when we get to Arias and what he did this week. But in game three, Sonny Gray absolutely has been doing phenomenally. He actually threw up in the morning as a reaction to a medication due to a virus, and he still pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 hits and 5 Ks. Giolito actually didn't look terrible in the start. It was all around a great team win. And Kyle Farmer got hit in the face. So I don't really know anything else about that. Yankees Guardians. The Guardians take game one. Offense actually showed up for Bieber. James Karinchak is very, very vocal after he strikes people out, and then the Yankees take the next 2 games. Guardians score first, but the Yankees score more. Cordero looks very good in this series. He hits multiple home runs, looks very good. The Yankees bullpen looks pretty good. And Larry Vanover, who's an umpire, took a ball off the face on a relay throw from Andres Jimenez. He's been hospitalized, and as of 12:30 this morning, he is still in the hospital. So hopefully he's the best. A's O's. This is a series that shouldn't have been as close as it actually was. But O's take the first two. A's take the next one, snapping a 6-game losing streak. And then A's take the game, or Orioles take the game today. Adley Rutschman hits a walk-off home run. I literally, if you hear the clip, someone in the crowd yells "finish it," and then Adley Rutschman hits a walk-off home run. He did in fact finish it. In game two, Ryan Mountcastle tied Jim Gentile and Eddie Murray's Orioles records with 9 RBIs in a total in a game. And then Red Sox Rays sweep the series. And Rays sweep the series and win 13 straight games. They have now tied the record, become the first team since the 87 Brewers and the 82 Braves. I think I'm gonna flip those to win 13 in a row. And then Royals Rangers gonna wrap it up. Rangers take the first two, Royals take the last one. In game one, the Royals threw out Nate Eaton. Was it the Royals or Rangers?
Royals.
Okay. Throw out Nate Eaton, and he's trying to be the next Shohei Ohtani. He honestly didn't look terrible for a guy that's just kind of throwing. But he actually was VMI's closer back in 2018. He has not stepped foot on a mound since then. So I mean, I guess that's pretty cool. But yeah, those were the series. Jonah Heim hits a walk-off in game 2. Bobby Witt Jr. triples, and he hit a foul ball to his dad. I thought that was pretty cool. Outside of that, do you guys have any things you want to cover? We'll double back through the series. So let's go White Sox Twins. Anything you guys want to cover?
The White Sox are dead.
They're gone. And we talked about it at the beginning. Their health was important and their health is not there anymore. They're gone. That's my only really takeaway. I do think that the Arias Lopez is a trade is a win-win. For both sides. I think the Twins wanted pitching and they got good pitching. And it seems like Lopez is even better on the Twins than he was last year as well. Brad, you have any thoughts on that?
I think, Steves, you mentioned it wasn't a win-win, like on the major league level, sure, but the Twins also got prospects. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's true. But
so
again, Arias is hitting what 535 or something like that. Like he's doing good, and
Pablo Lopez is filling the shoes of the ace the Twins didn't have.
that's fair.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just asking, is it as of right now, you got to look at it, and it's got to be a win-win trade at this point in time for both teams.
Yeah. But moving on to the Yankees series, I think that Franchy Cordero was a horrible drop for the Orioles. After having a really good spring training, the Orioles decided to let him go. And he continues to do what he was doing in spring training, which is not shocking at all. This is a seemingly common Orioles L going into the 2023 season. I'm a little disappointed. This is another bat they could have used in that lineup. And he's been producing very well recently.
Tom clearly has not listened to our last episode.
What are you guys talking about?
We talked about Franchy Cordero last episode.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in the DFA and the move itself. I mean, he's not like a perennial all-star, but like
In
he's gonna
all
be good.
honesty, we talked about it last time. He was a bench bat. Who are you gonna put him in over? Like
The issue was the Orioles wanted someone with first like defensive versatility, and the Yankees are kind of just using him like Matt Carpenter.
Is it justified though? I
Yeah.
still think he deserves a spot on that lineup. I think it's better. They gave him up for nothing. I mean, they literally gave him
Literally.
up. Like, like they didn't,
Well,
they didn't like, what
in
I'm saying?
all
Like,
honesty, like he had, I mean, he didn't have a predisposition to doing this in past seasons. Like, I think the Yankees kind of just have unlocked a second gear for him. He had a good spring again, and I believe he was one of the guys I said but had a fluke spring training, which so far he's proving me wrong. But
The thing is, like the power, like the max exit velocity has always been there. He's always been in the 90th plus percentile. He's just never been able to do anything else consistent.
he looks genuinely good this season. I don't know if it's because he's been more of a platoon guy and hasn't really, been their everyday guy out there, but I think he would be pretty nice on that bench in Camden Yards. I'm just saying, even as a bench bat, he would be pretty useful.
That's fair. But the thing is, he can pull a home run or two. The thing is, all of his home runs are pull side Yankee Stadium. It's literally almost like 4 perfectly scattered dots.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean,
But are they check his expected home run stat number. Check if that's the same in all ballparks. But
The
I am
expected
team-
home run is 3.8.
okay, so that's right about where. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's all right.
Yeah.
all right.
He's
Well,
legit.
Speaking about the A's and the O's, I meant the O's and the A's. Flipped them. What do you guys think about this series? I mean, I talked about it in game 4. Cole Irvin does not look good so far through his first couple of outings. Again, was a trade piece they went out and got. And they're still tinkering with him, but he didn't look very good in this outing.
My
Well-
Ryan Mountcastle preseason take is aging well. Wait, Brad, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna. Well, it's talking about that game where like he
Yeah.
tied Genital and Murray.
Yeah.
Grayson Rodriguez. The outing, if you actually watched it, was fine. He got, I think it was 18 of 23 batters to 2 strike counts. He was just struggling to put him away. He only allowed 3 of the runs himself, and then new arm came in, first pitch double. So the 4th and 5th earned run of Grayson Rodriguez, he didn't actually surrender himself. A reliever decided to do that for him.
Yeah,
Well-
I mean,
So what was that about?
Nothing. We'll talk about it later.
Grayson.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Grayson Rodriguez didn't look good in his outing either. But like again, like Brad said, I mean, it's sometimes just tough luck. I mean, again, it's a second outing. First one at home. Sometimes things are gonna happen. Some things are out of your control at the end of the day. But But Ali Rushman looks very good. Mountcastle looks very good. And Kyle Gibson actually looks pretty good. And looks like he was probably I mean, they didn't spend a lot on him, but it was a good contract to go and get him. Because he's their really only stable part of any of their pitching staff. Him and Felix Bautista are their only stable pieces. Austin Voth, the former Nats legend that they unlocked last year, has not looked good through his first couple outings this season. Dean Creamer, what? Dean Creamer is not looking good
Kramer.
either.
Creamer.
Kramer, he's
Creamer.
screaming.
Does he put
Uh,
cream in his coffee, or is it cream in his coffee?
He puts
God.
mayo. There's mayo in his coffee.
And then the final series we have to talk, actually second to last,
Yeah,
really
so-
quick. And this is really gonna be a quick one. The Rays dominated the Red Sox.
Yeah.
No one really looked good on the Red Sox except for Rafael Devers, who is always gonna be good. Um,
There's
yeah.
there's
Go ahead.
there's one thing. Jeffrey Springs left early today. In the fourth inning. It was some sort of nerve thing. He felt numbness on his arm. They're gonna go and get him obviously checked out, stuff like that. And Brandon Lau sucks, but
Steves has been getting proved wrong by Brandon Lau. It's just not good. Not looking good for him. Steves is going to be wearing that jersey by the end of the season, but fortunately for him, he does like the throwback jerseys, so it's okay.
That
I
is
do. I
true.
will get a Dever raise. I'm okay with that.
On the Taj Bradley first outing,
Yeah.
he graded
Ooh, yeah.
out as a 126 stuff plus. That's 28th best in baseball of anyone who's pitched an inning.
He's already up there in the percentiles too. You can see his ranking so far through that one start. He looks like the real deal. I mean, he's been hyped up like the real deal. I think it was about time he got called. He got that call, and I think he'll be that guy that kind of steps up in the future too.
His
Especially with
changeup-
Jeffrey
his
Springs
changeup's
out
a
now.
172.
He's got the stuff, man. I'm telling you.
I hope they don't send him down though. That's the thing. The whole plan is to bring him up, have him up, send him back down for like Yanni Chirinos or Luis Patino.
I mean,
Luis Patino's been waiting for so long, but he has not been panning out the way that, ball clubs want him to. I've been looking at this guy for a while. He has not really panned out very well. I don't know if he wants to be a trade piece in the future or maybe, but you can't send down Taj Bradley after what he did,
They
especially
sent
like
down Charles Bradley.
they did.
Yeah, they optioned him to the Durham
I mean,
Bulls.
with Jeffrey Springs and his uncertainty, they might bring him right back up.
That's true. Because this is what was this related? This is Zach Eflin. Yeah, so he's probably locked himself a spot in the rotation right now.
Probably.
I mean, there's also a chance the whole Jeffrey Springs thing was just a day.
It might have
That's
been.
happened to Kenta, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nerve thing. He just felt numbness. He said it wasn't pain or anything. It's just like there was like a shock in his arm, and he was like, I'm not gonna keep pitching. Not probably. Definitely a smart decision. But and then let's head to the Royals Rangers games, plural. Andrew Heaney ties the AL record with 9 Ks in a row. He had 10 total in that game. Looked good. Outside of that, I mean, it's just a Royals and Rangers series. Like,
I mean, my takeaway is that Chapman, I don't know where his velocity came back from. I don't know what he's been doing. I don't know if he's doing this naturally or not, but he looks like, he's aged back like 7 years. He's throwing fast again. He's getting swing and misses, and he's still maintaining the movement on his off-speed pitches too. So it actually looks like we're getting one of the best forms of Aroldis Chapman, still getting hit decently hard when they do make contact. But I mean, that's what you're going to get with a guy like a flamethrower. I like Chapman in the season. I think he's going to be a big trade piece for them. I think they're going to get a pretty big haul, just like who traded the Reds got when he got traded to the Cubs.
Oh, what was
Red-
the haul?
they're
They're gonna
the
get a pretty nice
Yankees.
haul.
The Yankees trade him to the Cubs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was it
The
the
Yankees trade him to the Cubs, and it was Gleyber Torres. They got Gleyber Torres. I remember that.
So
I don't
I think you could get a
remember who
pretty
else
good
was-
piece. I mean, a dominant lefty out of the pen is something that a lot of postseason teams are gonna be looking for, especially this season. And if he keeps it up, I don't know what else is gonna stop people from, giving a couple prospects away for it.
Yeah, I'd also like to see the Royals start to use the cutter of Brad Keller. When they did that in the Rangers start, right? The cutter slider combo, and he was really successful. Steph pointed out that he went, what did he go? 6 1/3, 6 2/3, 6 2/3, 3 hits and 1 earned. Struck out 7. It's a pretty good start. Everyone in the Royals starting routine, like the Royals aren't jumping off the page as like oh my God, this is an elite pitching staff now. But everyone across the board has improved. So I think
It's noticeable.
that pitching coach deserves an ounce of credit. New front office maybe is making advancement. What's up?
They traded Aroldis Chapman to the Cubs for Gleyber Torres, Billy McKinney, Rashad Crawford, and then a reliever in Adam Warren.
Two of those four made it to the majors. Like Glaber's competing for top 10. Billy McKinney was a journeyman.
Yeah.
Glaber's been looking really good. We could talk about that, but I mean, that's a conversation for today. He's up there in everything now. I mean, he's one of the better second basemen in the game. Probably behind Brandon Lau. Steves, you can
Nope.
shrug all you want, but you chose Brandon Lau outside of your list. Are you ready to move on to the NL, Brad? You want to do the interleague first?
I know.
Let's do the NL. Okay.
AL, NL,
Dodgers
come.
Giants. Let's lead it off with me and Brad. My takeaway from this series, I what I did with my recaps, I just did a takeaway. You can tell when a player tries harder against certain teams because Max Muncy could not touch the baseball with an oar to start the season. He was so bad, and it seemed like the only motivation he needed was facing the Giants. 4 home runs, 11 RBI, 2 strikeouts in the entire series. By the way, he strikes out like 3 times a night. By the way, he had 35% K rate on the season. He's not good, and he comes to this series and decides to be good because he's pissed off. He doesn't like the Giants. I don't like Max Muncy. Anyways, in other notes, Evan Phillips kind of had a minor implosion during game 2 of the series. That was in a Giant shutout 5-0. That was the day after the Giants kind of got, shelled. But, a good
And
shutout for the
between the
Giants.
days, the Giants got shelled.
It's okay. Wilmer Flores and Tyrell Estrada look great. Taylor Rogers looks awful. I really was, I didn't have like the highest hopes for Taylor Rogers, but I do like the Giants' ability to tamper with left-handed pitchers, and it has not been looking good. His control is all over the place. The Dodgers win that series 2-1. We could talk about our takeaways later. Brad's gonna, give me some stuff for that. But 2-1 is not that bad. We'll talk about the run differential later, but 2-1, that ain't bad. Marlins Phillies. My takeaway from this series is that Sandy got touched. They combined for 20 hits in that game. Arias hit for the cycle in game 2, I believe. Jesus Lizard had another quality start. He's been looking like a pitcher of the month front runner in the NL. And my other note from I think it was game 3 is Edward Cabrera did not walk 6+ batters, and he did well because of it. And I think that's not shocking. A guy with a control issue doesn't struggle to control, and he's good. It makes sense. Another note: Brendan Marsh and Bryson Stott are looking much better than expected. Guys like that you think would be role players are playing a lot better than that. What do you think? Nick Castellanos is starting to look like himself again, but the Marlins win the series 2-1. Padres Mets. Key takeaway. There's not that much to take from this one, but Pete Alonso's leading baseball in home runs right now, pretty casually. Max Scherzer had some beef with his catcher Tomas Nido. That didn't seem to stop him from throwing 5 shutout innings. Mets win that series 2-1. Reds Braves series. My key takeaway is the Braves won by only 1 run per game. And the Reds starting pitching actually didn't look too bad this series. Graham Ashcraft looked really good. Bryce Elder matched him in that game. Hunter Green struck out 10 in 6 innings. Ronald Acuna is batting .370, by the way, just casually. And the Braves sweep the Reds, winning by 1 run per game. Rockies Cardinals. This is where I have the least information on, just because it was a boring series. But Jordan Walker did tie the record for most consecutive games with a hit to start his career. And the Cardinals won that series 2-1. They really should not be losing games to the Rockies, but that's a conversation for another day. Brewers Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen and Corbin Burns remembered how to pitch for this series. Dre Jameson also looked good. Hasn't made it deep into a game yet, but he's been going about 4 innings per game. A little less, actually. I'm a little concerned about his ability to go deep into games, not pulling a Sandy.
This is his first start.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't pitch like long and he's been a long relief guy to start the year, but now he's starting. Are they does he want to go deeper into games, or is it just because he's not
He's
able
just
to?
not stretched out yet.
Yeah. He'll be stretched later.
He's on
Andrew
a pitch
Chafin,
limit.
Big Country has been looking fantastic to start the season. And the Diamondbacks win the series 2-1, and I believe they're 8-5 and on top of the NL West right now, which is, a bit unexpected as a team that I thought would maybe be, for a couple of years in the future. They're looking very good to start the season. And those are my notes. Any comments on that?
Okay, let's. Do you want to talk about this one first? Or do you want to talk about Brewers Diamondbacks and go backwards? Or do you want to go back to the top and come back down?
Brewers Diamondbacks. Let's be really
Okay.
quick. Brewers Diamondbacks pitching looks good on both sides. The Diamondbacks are sneaky. there was a clip from game 2 where the Diamondbacks like fake stole and the Brewers launched the ball into center field. Um, and the Diamondbacks Twitter tweeted, "Our reputation precedes us," and with like a winking emoji. And it's just like it's like it's a catcher perspective view of the ball just flying into center field.
Yeah.
It's literally like when I throw the ball in MLB The Show and I mistime the throw and it just gets launched. Like that's exactly what happened, and I don't know what he was. I don't know. But Tom, what is your concerning stat of the day?
I wrote this down on the paper. This is my concerning stat of the day. Thank you for asking status today. Thank you very much. My concerning stat of the day is that Corbin Carroll, Stebbs' rookie of the year pick, has not walked yet. It's been how many games now? He has not drawn a walk yet. I mean, he's one of the only players to not draw a walk in the entire season. I mean, it's got to happen eventually. I mean, he's on par with guys like Stebbs. Who's your guy that can't walk?
Luis Garcia.
Yeah, Luis Garcia. I think him and Luis Garcia are like some of the only guys that haven't walked yet. And surprisingly, Luis Robert has not walked either. But Corbin Carroll's my main concern. This is what my concern was coming into the season. I knew he struggled with plate discipline, and not necessarily plate discipline, but drawing walks, and he just has not been able to do so this season. He's been so lethal on the bases, but he only gets on base when he gets hits. If he can draw walks, he'd be so much more effective.
I mean, he's batting 255. 271 on base percentage, 739 OPS. Like
that OPS would be up in the 900s if he could actually,
I mean, that's
draw
fair, but I don't think I'm too concerned about it, right?
Fred,
give me 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks. How many walks do you think he'll have in 2 weeks?
4.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, that's not. I don't know. I cause for concern at this point, no. Cause for concern if he still hasn't walked in 2 weeks from now.
He doesn't have 4.
I can give you that.
I've been looking. I've been just checking. I'm like, Corbin still has not walked yet. He has not walked yet. I check every day. I'm gonna be on my Corbin walk radar. I'm gonna be watching every day. If he gets a walk, we're tweeting it out. It's official. But I'm excited for the day that Corbin Carroll does, manage to grab a base on balls. That's all I have to say.
Are you more of like a walking person than a running person?
Yes. Well, actually, hard 90s to first when you get ball 4. Corbin can definitely do that, but
That's
you never did that.
Yeah, Tom, you pimped it.
You pimped the walk. You pimped the walk.
Nuh-uh.
Nah, I always bat flip when I walked. That was.
Dude, we're going back a second. I was the catcher that threw the ball into center field.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, Rockies Cardinals. I mean, Jordan Walker's phenomenal. I mean, what more do you really want to say? I mean, he's 12 hits in a row now. Start his career.
13.
Yeah,
he's got
the thing is,
2
only
home runs,
3 of
something
those
like
games
that.
are multi-hit games.
Yeah,
that's fair. But I mean, if you're getting a hit a game, I don't really. Who okay? Let's say right now you had to pick your rookie of the year. Is it who is it?
James Outman.
Okay, that's fair. I was more meaning between.
I'm going Jordan Walker.
Tom,
I was more.
James Outman's almost first in WAR.
I was
know,
meaning
James
between
Outman's
Corbin
crazy,
Carroll and Jordan Walker, but
hey man,
Enter
James Outman.
James.
it's Mr. Hits every single time he's up to the plate, and Mr. doesn't walk. So which would you
James
rather
Outman.
have? That's not okay. Anyways, let's head to the Reds and Braves. I mean, the Braves won as they should have, but again, like Tom said, it was by 1 run each game. I mean, again, the young trio of Graham Ashcraft, Hunter Green, and Nick Lodolo looked pretty good. Start off the season. Ronald Acuna Jr. is obviously a sensational. He's a generational talent. He is. He's very good. I am a huge Ronald Acuna Jr. fan. It just sucks that he's on the Braves, and I hate the Braves. Do you have any other takeaways, Brad?
In 2 years, 2025, when the Reds may be contending for a playoff spot, they make a wild card series. Facing Lodolo, Ashcraft, and Green in a 3-game series is not going to be fun.
100%.
But the reason they've been losing is not because of those 3. It's because they're awful bullpen. I mean, their bullpen has not looked very good to start the season. I am I'm pretty sure all 3 of those games against the Braves were like most of the runs were given up by the bullpen.
Yeah.
They're gonna need to build that up a little bit. I am, a little bit excited to see Aledmys Diaz or not. Is it Aledmys? No,
Alexis.
Alexis Diaz. Yeah,
Aledmus is on the
Astro
Athletics.
Athletics. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So moving up just a tad. We're moving up to the Padres Mets. So you brought up the Pete Alonso like leading baseball in home runs. So Blake Snell was on the mound. He was struggling with his pitch comb, right? And he was like toying with it. And he was trying instead of just taking a ball, he just like, you know what? Screw it. He throws like a 92-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle. Because him nor the catcher have relayed signs to one another. It's like, what could go wrong? The ball went like 450 feet. And then when it cut to commercial, like at the end of the inning, you could see Blake Snell holding the pitch comp thing saying, "This is a piece of trash." So if Blake Snell is using finger signs next start, we know why.
I mean, there has been a lot of problems with the pitch com. Like I feel like that takes like a large majority of the stoppage in play has been because of the pitch com, and it's not working. So I mean, I think it is more effective. I think it's just again, it's a new like they implemented it last year, just kind of test running it in spring training, and everyone liked it so much that they put it in to just the regular season, and now they've only really had a year to kind of work through it. So I think with time, it's going to become a much more effective tool and be a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that insightful information, Tom.
Yeah. That's all right.
Let's go Marlins Phillies. Marlins Luis Arias is again like we talked about hitting like 530, hits for the cycle, in Citizens Bank, which sorry, is not the easiest thing to do. I don't know how many cycles have been in Citizens Bank, but it can't be too many. Because I know Coors Field's up there. It's a pretty that's probably the easiest one to hit for the cycle in. But outside of that, but there's not really much more takeaways. I mean, Snatty sucked.
I have a takeaway. Well, like what Brad mentioned earlier with the Reds, this is a wild card team in the future that I would be afraid to face. I think, given that Edward Cabrera, progresses a little bit more, facing that 1-2-3 of Jesus Luzardo, Snatty, and Edward Cabrera with an actual bullpen, like guys like AJ Puck stepping up too, and a decent offense, Brad with a good representation of Snatty. This is a scarier team to be facing in the playoffs, I think, than a Reds team, obviously, that needs to be developed more. But you know what I'm saying? Like this could be a wild card threat in years to come.
I mean, you also have to take into account they do still have the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies they're going to have to compete against to get there. I think the Mets will probably fall out of that soon. Brad?
The Phillies, however, I wanted to talk about them. Should we be concerned?
Their offenses looked, decent, fine, actually good. Their pitchings looked awful. I'm a little concerned about the pitching right now. You're getting decent breakouts from Stott and even Marsh. Like they both look good, and I mean Alec Boehm's looked good. They're all hitting singles. They're not really going for extra bases, but they are getting on base. There's like 3 batters on that team that are batting like 350 and above. Like they're obviously it's early in the season, but having some guys that are making contact as a team and getting on base, it's useful if you can pitch, but they can't. So if it all clicks at once, I'm telling you the Philly team are going to be a little bit more scary. But as of right now, they have one of the worst ERAs in baseball, one of the worst team, pitching staffs in baseball. Actually, not in terms of talent, but in terms of performance right now, yes, they are one of the worst in baseball.
So I'm gonna say I'm not worried about their starting rotation. I'm worried about their bullpen. I like this was a bullpen not supposed to be like upper echelon, it's supposed to be at least somewhat competent, and it's just not so far throughout the season, right? I think everything else will kind of fall into place. The starting pitching will get to where it needs to be. The bats will start coming, especially once Harper comes back, which he's literally trying to do everything to get back. Like he's literally trying to play first base now. Like he is doing everything in his power to come back as soon as he possibly can. Because he wants to be out on the field. He's that type of player. He wants to be on the field. He wants to help his team win a championship, right? So I think everything else will click into place. It's just a matter of, in all honesty, I'd rather the scuffling be happening right now if I'm a Phillies fan, Because if you get later in the season and then they're clicking on all cylinders at the right time heading into the postseason, that's exactly what happened last year. That's what they need to happen again. If they're scuffling now, that's fine. I'd rather scuffling start now than be at the end of the season like the Mets. Literally what happened in the Mets last year? They scuffled at the end of the season, kind of led into the postseason, and they fell out.
I think people forget that they were on a 95 win pace in their scuffle.
I'm saying at the end of the season, like they lost the NL East to the Braves, and then they got knocked out in the first
The
round.
Braves just got really high. Honestly, the Mets didn't really slow down. They were just kind of, consistent. They were running the marathon, but then the Braves like forgot that they were running the marathon and they started like sprinting at the end, and then they caught up and
They ran a triathlon.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
But there's simply no other NL teams to talk about. We don't have to talk about the last one on that list.
The Giants and the
Oh
Dodgers.
no!
Tom. Yeah, it sucked.
No, we don't. I don't think I'm
Okay, no, to be completely fair, Max Muncy is just a god against San Francisco. Like he literally, I saw
He's
a
your
post.
daddy.
I saw a post, and he was literally like, "I hate playing in San Francisco. It's windy, it's terrible, but I hit well there, so I guess I'm okay with it." Like he literally hates San Francisco so much. Like it's so funny.
The problem is this San Francisco. I mean, this Dodgers team is so like not hateable. Like I honestly like a lot of the players of this team. Like you like Betts, you like Freeman. I like Miguel Vargas. I like James Outman. I love Dustin May. But
How you feel about Max Muncy?
I absolutely hate Max Muncy, dude. I hate this guy. He's a loser. I mean, how are you gonna be so bad versus everyone else? And
how many home runs did you let up against him this series?
A couple. But I guarantee those are the only ones that he's ever gonna hit this season. And he's gonna go back to having a 50% strikeout rate on the season, and he's gonna get DFA'd at the deadline. Wait,
who cares if he does that, if he does this against the Giants?
That's what I'm saying. He's just
But the thing that in this series and watching it, right? They don't let their starting pitchers go deep into games at all. Like Alex Wood was looking fantastic in game 2, and they just pulled him.
Is it? Do you
I don't
think
like
it's
it.
more of a saving, like they're trying to keep their arms safe thing? Like it's a tactic.
thing,
I'm not
right?
saying it's a good tactic, but if you know you're good enough to make the playoffs,
But
then
they haven't proven that.
They haven't proved that yet, though. I mean, you gotta. The Gabe experiment goes as follows. It's you follow the statistics, and it's just like Kevin Cash. You don't let your heart take over you. You literally follow the statistics, and there's some formula that says pulling your guy in the 5th inning is effective, but it's not. I just disagree with it. I don't know how you guys feel about that. You probably agree with me though. I think you gotta let guys go deeper into games. I think Alex Cobb has looked pretty good. Alex Wood has looked really good. I mean, there are guys on this team that can go deeper into games. Honestly, if I've been let down by anything, it's the bullpen at this point. Like, and that's the place. Gabe calls on the bullpen to clutch up more than any other part in this entire organization, and they are the worst part of this team, if that makes sense. I feel like we're being like I feel like we're being exploited for our worst part of our team, and we're using it the most. I don't know why. You got to let our starters go deeper into games. There is some hope. And Sean Manaea looked good, but that was in a different series. Like I'm saying for the future, like you can have starters go 7 innings. I think some of these guys can last that long.
It's also like you said, Kevin Cash, like he'll let guys go 6-7 innings. Like Alex Cobb yesterday was at 70 pitches in the 5th inning, and they pulled him. Alex Wood was at 75, and they pulled him. And what did the Dodgers do when they took both of them out? Even though the Dodgers ended up losing game 2, like they got on base in game 2, bullpen clutched up. Game 3, however, is the opposite story. Scott Alexander comes in and lets up a bomb. Like,
I mean, Scott Alexander has been, a rare, sunlight in this bullpen. Actually, he hasn't been too bad, has he? Hold on. No, Scott Alexander's not the guy I'm talking about. Never mind.
The thing. No, Scott Alexander had been pretty good, except for the fact that Freddie Freeman went dead center. Then you're like center fielder died.
Yeah.
He like hit his brim into the wall, and there's like lid lines all across his forehead. And then Max Muncy took him dead center.
So I mean, here's the thing: Desclafani's looked decent. I think he's looked good to start the season. Wood has looked good. Cobb has looked good. Manaea had a good start. I think he's riding that. There's 4 guys that can not lead a team, but can go deeper into games. You can't be relying on guys. I mean, like even I don't know. A lot of these bullpen guys are not what they used to be. I don't think we can't just keep calling them every day. I think Brebbia is probably our go-to guy. Tyler Rogers makes me want to jump off a building, but he's actually decently effective.
Throw away his glove.
No, that's the other one, Steps.
Oh, is that Trevor?
That was
No,
Taylor.
Taylor.
Trevor's a Marlin and not
Yeah,
related to
Taylor.
them.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah,
I'm mixing up the Rogers, man. I don't even.
yeah,
Mr.
but I mean,
Rogers.
the thing is, on this Giants team, you look at their baseball savant, because I mean, obviously you got obsessed with over baseball savant. Their hitting stats look appealing. Like guys like Lamont Wade, Jock Peterson, David VR, like all these guys have really good percentiles under the hood stuff. But where are their real stats? They don't exist. Like they're not that good on paper. I mean, like their numbers. Like even Ruff, he came back and hit a double yesterday. I It's weird. I thought their identity was a team that could, be a good pitching factory, but it seems like the bats have been better than the pitching this season, and I don't know. Very confusing team to follow, but at least they're my favorite team, so I can, follow them constantly.
Moving into the interleague, we got the Pirates and Astros kicking it off. Key takeaways from this: shift or no shift. Framber Valdez is actually still very good. He's very good at inducing weak contact or just hard ground ball contact. Mitch Keller pitched really well. Jihan Bay had a walk-off. Christian Javier has not been good. Like that's been the first real surprise. Everyone, Tom, you were really high on it. Didn't you have him Cy Young 3?
Yeah, I was pretty high on him. I thought he'd be a guy, has a lot of I liked his percentiles everywhere. He had really good fastball movement. I thought he would be that guy. And so did MLB.com apparently. So I mean, that wasn't an unpopular opinion. He just hasn't taken the step yet. And I'm not too worried. I mean, we're only 3 starts in the season, or maybe even 2 for him. But yeah, I'm not too worried. I don't think he's gonna be that Cy Young guy. You kind of got to come out the gate pretty hot to be a Cy Young guy. But I don't know. I'm a little disappointed.
Tom and I both had him at 2.
Oof.
That's crazy.
Also,
That is
just
hard.
on the topic of awards, real quick, we got to go back to the Rangers Royal Series. As Corey Seager has been placed on the IL for a month.
I know.
So
It's over.
that hurts.
It's
Tom,
over. It's over.
He's
It's
got to
really
have
over.
basically an elite return.
It's not
or-
even possible. He plays in the same league as Shohei, and he needs to. And
Your
Aaron
McClanahan,
Judge.
your McClanahan pick's looking good though.
Yeah, it
Astros
is.
win the series 2-1. Going to Cubs Mariners. Jarrett Kelenic looks here. He do the thing. Dansby Swanson is healthy. He did get removed from a long game, but it was basically his wife had patellar tendon surgery to repair it. She got injured in a soccer game. He was up all morning. Basically, he said his body was tired and it caused some cramping. He's okay. That's good news for the Cubs. Hayden Wesneski and Chris Flexen combined for 15 runs over 3 2/3 innings pitched to start game 2. Marcus Stroman allowed his first runs of the season, 18 innings pitched, 2 earned runs so far. Jared Kelenic went to 482 dead center. Logan Gilbert looks much more solid than last year. All the percentiles like him. The movement's good. That new split finger is pretty nifty. Cubs take the series 2-1. Big win for the Cubs.
Definitely.
I like, Steph's gonna go nuts here, but I don't think the Cubs are as bad as I made them out to be. I think they're actually, and no, and Steph, you can celebrate, but there are a lot of guys that are stepping up in this offense, like guys that I wouldn't have expected. Even Patrick Wisdom looks good. He struck out 95% of the time last season. I mean, there are guys that I didn't expect to pop off that are doing very well right now. And it seems like everything's clicking. Even Mark, you did not expect Marcus Stroman to be a Cy Young candidate to start the season.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of things that had to go right.
I did not expect Marcus Stroman to be a Cy Young candidate to start the season, but I did expect Marcus Stroman to have a somewhat bounce back of a season, right? I
am pleased. I am pleased.
He is the focal point of this starting rotation and the pitching staff in general, and he has come out and shown out throughout the entirety. He's a good clubhouse guy. We talked about it last episode. I like Marcus Stroman. He's a good clubhouse guy. He's a guy you want in your clubhouse in your pitching rotation, and he's doing the thing.
He's
doing the thing.
Yeah, he's doing the thing. Okay,
He's doing the thing.
I'm trying to find Logan Gilbert's stuff plus right now. Sorry.
Anyways,
No,
Jared Kelenic is he's here. He's arrived,
He did
and
the thing?
it's something we all kind of had predicted, especially after his spring. And we don't want to jinx it, right? Again, 2 weeks in the season. If you can keep this pace up, that's a very good sign for Mariners fans.
So before Brad gets the stats up, I'm just looking at this pitching staff for the Cubs. I was so disappointed, I guess. I mean, I really didn't know who Adbert Alzolay was to start the season. He's one of the better pitchers on this team. Justin Steele's looked good. Drew Smiley's looked good. Marcus Stroman obviously having a great start to the season. It seems like a lot is clicking to go well. And this is the same. This is like this says you're looking up at the air like you're about to say
Well,
something
no,
sarcastic.
I'm thinking
Okay.
because we've had conversation about Albert Alzolay all the time. Like we've talked about him a bunch.
Not a
Not
bunch,
like
but we've
me,
mentioned
not a
it.
bunch.
not
We've
not
mentioned him.
not on here. Like me and you have had genuine conversation about Albert Alzolay. He was a young guy that came up, I think in 2019 or 2021, somewhere in that 2019 to 2021, and when COVID was happening. And when he came up, because we were watching a Nats broadcast, and he had good stuff. He had decent stuff, and we were like, this is a guy we could see being a very, very important piece for the Chicago Cubs. And again, like you were mentioning, he is.
Yeah, I don't want to ramble too long here, but I do think that the production from Patrick Wisdom, Ian Happ, and even Nico Horner does eventually regress to the mean slightly. I think Dansby Swanson, you're getting what you're getting, but the rest of those guys coming out the gate really hot, I don't see them keeping it up for a full season. I see the pitching staff, maintaining their solidness, but not the hitting in this lineup.
Real quick, Ian Happ did sign a 3-year extension worth $61 million. Very important for the Cubs and for the Cubs' future. Just wanted to throw that out there since Tom did in fact mention Ian Happ.
I did not enjoy that. I would have liked to see him hit free agency because this free
Well,
agent class is looking
yeah, the free
really
agent class
poor
is
right
kind of
now.
lame outside of Shohei. So I mean, the pitchers are not terrible.
It's
And you
Urias
got
and
like
Nola.
Urias, you got Nola, you got Shohei. Yeah, what
Unicorn.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Oh
He's
yeah.
he's the Japanese guy that's coming over this year, or supposed to be.
Speaking of Japanese guys, the Angels hosted the Nationals for the 3-game set. Key takeaways: Patrick Corbin strikes out Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout before allowing, what was it, 5 runs, 6 runs, 7 runs, 8 runs, 9 runs. He's bad. Anyways, Mason Thompson looked good again. There's a competent reliever for the Washington Nationals. It's good to see that their bullpen is at least a bright spot. Shohei Ohtani without command is still ridiculous. He broke Nolan Ryan's record of 10 straight games with 2 or less earned runs for the Angels. He also keeps his pitch comm in his armpit. And there was an umpire who is, quote, sus of him keeping going to his armpit for like some sticky stuff or some sweaty stuff, I guess. But it just turns out he likes to tickle the pitch comm in his armpit. Umpire was unbeknownst of such. Josiah Gray's adjustments are very legit. Mackenzie Gore lost his command. Griffin Canning made his return after missing all of 2022 from a lower back stress fracture, and the Angels take the series 2-1. The Nationals played very close though.
They did.
I mean, the only thing I gotta say is like, who on this team is tradable at the moment? Just give me some names that you can trade, because Jmar Candelario does not look like
Dom
someone you can
Smith.
flip for that much anymore. Dom Smith is probably that guy to trade. Steves?
As far as trade pieces, okay, so I'm on Nat's Twitter, right? And everyone's throwing a fit because Davey Martinez, Stone Garrett, we talked about it. He went 4 for 5 the other day. He had a bomb, 2 doubles, and a single. And everyone's throwing a fit because he didn't play in this Angels series. It's Stone Garrett. You want your guys that are the trade pieces to get going. You want Joey Meneses to get going. You want Dom Smith to get going. You want Jeimer Candelario to get going. That's the important thing. Everyone's like, oh, the same 2, 3, and 4 guys are batting. There's a reason for that. It's because you want them to get going so they have some sort of value so you can trade them. Jeimer is doing good. He's hitting the ball hard, which is important. Brad's gonna pull up a stat and it's
Let's
probably
check
gonna
it.
be completely off. But when I watch him, he's up there and he's hitting the ball at a decently high clip and at a decently hard rate. As far Dom Smith, he's getting there. I don't know if he's the best trade candidate we have at the point in time. Jordan Meneses is not there. Wasn't he your MVP for the Nats?
I don't know who else would be Steves,
I
but
don't.
yeah.
It,
I
it,
mean,
it was not Joey Meneses. Meneses
no,
does
Luis
not look good
Garcia's
so
12th.
far. Luis Garcia actually was hurt. He only played in the last game this season or last game this series. He hamstring in the Rockies series. Outside of that, Josiah Gray honestly looks really, really good. That's very important for our future. And he's still tinkering with some things, still got some work to do. But his last 2 losses, he didn't pitch bad. He just got outdueled by their aces. He got outdueled by Kyle Freeland and Shohei Ohtani. who are the aces of their respective teams, right? At the end of the day, I mean, sometimes you just lose a game. Mackenzie Gore, like Brad said it. Mackenzie Gore just lost his command. He's gonna be hard on himself about it, but he'll bounce back. And Patrick Corbin struck out Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. That's the only thing that matters in this series, in my opinion.
I mean,
Tom,
Okay.
they did.
Hey, Patrick. I think you're the worst WAR pitcher in baseball. Joey Meneses is actually doing fine. He's
I don't
just
think
getting
it's doing too bad,
unlucky.
yeah.
He's just getting unlucky.
That
On other
he has
notes-
been, but it's not good enough to trade.
On other notes, the Tampa Bay Rays, if they played 500 ball for the rest of the season, they'd be better than they were last year. They'd be 87 and 75, which is pretty good. That pretty much guarantees them a wild card spot. All they have to do is play 500 ball. And I had a question for you too. All right. You're given 5 players from 2023 so far, and you can buy stock in 2 of them. Whose stock are you buying? Jared Kelenic, Jordan Walker, Hunter Brown, James Outman, or Garrett Mitchell?
I'm gonna let Tom pick one.
But you can choose
because
2?
You can choose 2 to buy a stock in.
I'm buying 2. I'm going with 2 right away. I'm gonna go before Stevs. James Outman and Garrett Mitchell. I like them both the most, I think. Yep, that's right.
I was not gonna go that way. I'm gonna go with Jordan Walker. I think he's only gonna get better, and I'm also gonna go with Hunter Brown because I'm not gonna bet against Astros pitching coaches and development. So I feel like Hunter Brown's the safest pick in my opinion. And then you throw around in that a 20-year-old Jordan Walker. I don't think you can go against that. I like James Outman. I just don't like him better than Jordan Walker. And Garrett Mitchell's a safe pick. I agree with that as well. I think Kelenic's probably your least safe pick because he is a little older than these guys, but
It comes down to the mental side of things. He's a streaky guy. I mean, he could be on a hot one right now, but I hope he's, found his stride. But he hasn't really been able to do that his whole career. So I think betting after, 2 weeks of performance is not enough for me yet. Brad, where are you at on that?
I am going to go with James Outman. Obviously, Dodger bias. He plays really good defense. There's the speed tool. The bat's going to regress because, again, he's not going to have a 1.1 OPS. And if he does, I guess he wins the MVP. But I think there's still a very good tool there. It's not an elite hit tool. It's a solid hitting tool. The strikeouts are very, very present. But I'll buy some stock in it because defense and speed do have its own value. I think by that same logic, I could go for Garrett Mitchell, but I'm also going to go for Jared Kelenic because of these 5 guys, he is the only non-rookie. The league adjusted to him the moment he came up. And right now it looks like he's adjusting back to the league. Jordan
That's
Walker,
fair.
we haven't seen struggle. Hunter Brown has had 5 career starts. James Outman's been up for 15 games. Same goes for Garrett Mitchell. So of these guys, he's the only one that I've seen adjust back to the league.
yeah, that's definitely a fair point. I can't argue with it. Honestly, if you buy stock in any of these 5 guys, I think you're pretty safe. In all honesty, I think all of these guys are gonna be good for many, many years to come, and I can't really argue with it. But I do have a couple notes, just about pace play, offense, stolen bases, stuff like that. So this is all compared to the same number of days, as of last year compared to last year. Time is down 30 minutes, and pace of play over a 9-inning game, from 3 hours and 7 minutes to 2 hours and 37 minutes. Offense runs are up 1.4 per game, compared to last season, 8 to 9.4 runs a game, and averages are up 20 points as well, average of 230 to 250. Stolen base attempts are up 1.7 per 9 innings. That is a lot. And the success rate is also up, from 74% to 79.9%. Do you guys see anything here that you guys want to cover on outside of what I just covered?
Offense is up, more is happening, the games are shorter. If you complain about the new rules, you're wrong.
Tom?
Uh-huh. That's everything, dude. Yeah.
All right. And then for the last part of this episode, we have our weekly power rankings. So we're going to kick it off with the pitching power rankings, and then I'll read through them. You guys give your reactions. We chilling?
Yeah.
All right. For pitching, at number 10, we have the Houston Astros. Number 9, the Cleveland Guardians. Number 8, the Seattle Mariners. Number 7, the Texas Rangers. Number 6, the Atlanta Braves. Number 5, the Los Angeles Dodgers. number 4 Milwaukee Brewers, number 3 New York Yankees, number 2 Minnesota Twins, and number 1 the Tampa Bay Rays.
No shocks there.
No shocks.
Nothing surprising there. I didn't pick any strange outliers or anything on that list.
I literally have not in the same order, but
Tom, wait, you did pick an
template.
outlier on your list. You did pick an outlier on your list.
Tom, what was your outlier?
Kyle
Tom?
Tucker. No, just kidding. No. We don't have to talk about my pick.
Tom, why are the
Brad.
Giants your number 10 vote?
Okay. They have very good fielding independent pitching stats in FIP and Sierra. Brad, I know expected ERAs apparently somehow without fielding. How's that?
Because it relies on its quality of contact,
yeah.
strikeouts, and walks.
Okay, so every like ball in play has an expected batting average that is calculated into
It's
expected
expected batting average that's weighted based on what that result would be.
Yeah, okay. So I see how that doesn't use defense, but I feel like FIP and Sierra are both better for, fielding independent pitch. Brad, what are your thoughts on that?
The Giants, from your logic, are also 13th in the league in FIP with a 473, or no,
Expected
sorry,
FIP.
17th in the league.
Expected FIP. My apologies.
You know what that means? They just pitch to a lot of fly balls.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I don't know. I was sold because they ended up on a lot of those advanced stats. I was looking at a lot of those weighted ones. But it seems as if I think there's gonna be some regression to the mean. I think the Giants pitching will get better.
Tom, you also
do they
got to
deserve
use
be on the-
you got to use a little bit of the eye test, man. Like when you watch the Giants pitch, do you feel safe with them pitching? No.
Okay, to be fair, I don't feel safe with half my bullpen coming in.
Yeah,
and they're like
that's
number 4
fair,
or 5 on the list. Yeah.
but it's the Giants.
I will say, for pitching, I had the Dodgers at 6, same as Stevs. Tom kind of carried the Dodger boat by putting them at 5th. So,
Yeah.
moving on to hitting. This one's going to be a little bit, this one's not the wonky one. The other one's the wonky one. At number 10, we have the Houston Astros. Number 9, San Francisco Giants. Number 8, the New York Yankees. Number 7, the Baltimore Orioles. Number 6, the Milwaukee Brewers. Number 5, Atlanta Braves. Number 4, St. Louis Cardinals. 4 through 1 were all unanimous. Number 3, the Toronto Blue Jays. Number 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And number 1, the Tampa Bay Rays.
So, I'm just curious. Who did vote for the Giants?
All 3 of us did.
Let's go, dude. I love you guys.
I think
Okay.
we had a 10, a 9, and an 8. Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably the 8, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
I like this rating. I think
I
for the
was an
most
8.
part.
No, sorry, 10, 8, and 7.
Okay, yeah, I was
Okay.
definitely 7. Okay. I think the other that maybe stands out to me is maybe Brewers over Orioles. I think that can maybe change. I don't know if I actually put that down as my vote, but I think now just looking at it, I'm not sure if the Orioles have a worse offense than the Brewers at this time. I feel like the Brewers offense has cooled off quite a bit, but same time, I'm not sure. Brad, what are your thoughts?
You were the only person that had the Orioles higher than the Brewers.
Yeah, I have the Orioles at 10. And I had so the way I kind of do it is like I cherry pick stats, but average OPS, WRC plus and WAR are like the main stats I look at. And then I pick the lowest. I like highlight the lowest in red, highlight the highest in green. Obviously the Rays are green and everything, so I just like excluded them from it. But the Astros and the Orioles were the only 2 with reds. So that's why they were the lowest on mine. The Giants were just kind of a mediocre team, so I felt like 8 was a good spot for them. The Brewers are batting 264, 768 OPS, and a 107 WRC plus so far throughout the season, compared to the Orioles 246 average, 780 OPS, and 117 WRC plus.
Which is also
they
being
definitely
heavily carried by that opening series versus the Red Sox.
That is very true.
They steal
And-
bases too.
Yeah,
Sorry,
they
that's
do.
all.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
hitting. And then-
again, nothing has really surprised us in the first 2, outside of Tom picking the Giants for pitching.
Let's get wonky.
I think the
Wait, Greg, go ahead.
Astros at the end of their World Series leash right now. They got to start picking it up.
They're really not. They're not selling it for me. And I think given another week of this, they will not make the top 10. In a lot of these categories, or maybe even the overall. Brad, would you like to speak on that?
So at number 10, we had a 3-way tie where each one of us had a different 6 seed, and they didn't appear on anyone else's ballot. So at number 10, based on the tiebreaker of winning percentage, is the Texas Rangers. So 10A and 10B were the Astros and Mets. Steves, did you have something?
Okay, I'm okay. The Astros are a top 10 pitching and a top 10 hitting on our list, but they don't quite make the top 10. But yet keep going. I'll debate in a second. Sorry.
At number 9, the Los Angeles Angels. At number 8, the San Diego Padres. At number 7, the Toronto Blue Jays. Number 6, the New York Yankees. Number 5, the Minnesota Twins. Number 4, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 3, the Milwaukee Brewers. Number 2, the Atlanta Braves. And obviously, number 1, the undefeated, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Devs, what would you like to discuss on this one?
So I don't understand how you can how you can have a the Astros are a top 10 pitching and a top 10 hitting, but you don't have them in the top 10 overall over a team like the Padres.
Steves,
When
you
you're
voted
saying
for the
World
Padres.
I did.
Tom
You're right.
voted for them higher than you did.
I also voted for the Astros. I voted for both of them, right? And I voted for the Padres lower because the Padres aren't top 10 in either, but the Astros are. Like, I don't understand. That's something that doesn't that something's not adding up.
Wait a second. I'm looking at these responses now. Brad,
Who's
why'd
the
you have
best?
why'd you have the Twins at 2?
Because like their pitching staff is so unbelievably dominant. They're 8
I
and
know.
4.
I didn't even
no.
have the Twins. I don't even think I had the
Wait,
Twins.
what? No, you had the Twins like 9 steps. You had to.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
don't
did.
know
I had
how
that
you're
now.
disrespecting the Twins that much. The pitching staff is legit. The offense is hit or miss sometimes, but they go out every single game and they have a competitive start from their starting pitcher, and they are put in a situation to win every single time.
1 through what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 through 6 for me. All of them are top 10 on both categories. Past that, it's just hit or miss. And the Padres are mediocre at both. Twins have a really good. I could see the Twins above the Padres. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But I can't put them. I like offense, so Blue Jays are above them, and the Blue Jays have a very, very good offense. I don't know.
You also
I
put
just,
the Padres above the Twins.
Yeah, I know. I said that's what I was saying. I could see swapping the Padres and the Twins.
See, my number 10, I didn't include the Astros or the Padres because I don't think either of them deserve to be on there at this point in the overall. Because you can be on both at number 10, but it doesn't mean that someone's, I guess, one strength in one of them can't like outweigh both of yours. If that makes sense. Like you could have like one that would be really, really strong in one and kind of mediocre in the other. That combination will be better than a 10. My 10th place vote was the best team in the NL West right now, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Okay, I did. I had where did I have the Diamondbacks? I had the Diamondbacks and I debated them for a strong little bit, but I decided to not go with them.
I simply could not do it. I think they're
yet.
fraudulent.
They're
fraudulent.
I
they
agree.
need one more week of this. One more week of this, and then I'll put them in.
I just don't believe it. I'm not on the train, and I can't. Like, I mean, like Brad explained this one time. He's like, when you're comparing things, you put them in a list. You pair them up against each other. Who would win in a series? I don't think the Diamondbacks are beating any of these teams in a series, or
they just beat the Dodgers in a series.
Yeah, and the Brewers.
Dodgers pretty bad. Oh, that's true. Hey, but you know how it is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how long it stays before it all starts to crumble down.
I'd like to ask you before we head out: Padres and Mets at 5 and 6.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
That's just trying to ignore some preseason. They're trying to use some preseason. And also, by the way, hold on. Stas, you look at me like I just committed like some sort of like crime against humanity.
The Mets are atrocious this year so far. Not atrocious, but not good.
So, well, first of all, wait, what are we talking
Padres
about?
are also bad, but
the Padres are
5 and 6.
The Padres are 7 and 6, and they are not that bad. And they went into Atlanta and won the series.
They did.
So it's not like it's that.
The Padres
outrageous.
isn't the thing that's upsetting to me. It's the Mets.
Yeah, the Mets is really is this
that high. It's the fact that they're that high. Not even that they're just on the list.
Steve, man, nah. Okay,
Look at
yeah,
my list. My list is not
no,
atrocious.
I'll take responsibility for that one. But also, you had the Astros at 6, which is just as atrocious as the Mets. They have been playing, if not worse, than the Mets.
No. But they're a top 10 offense and a top 10 pitching staff. How
Right, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this? I think Stev's
that's
putting
what
the
doesn't
Astros
that's
as
what's
equals.
not computing in my head. That they're
Give
a top
Stev's
10
give Stev's
offense
put
and a top 10 pitching staff,
You guys,
but they're
neither
not
of
a
you have
top
the
10.
Rangers.
Well, no,
No,
they don't have Seager anymore. It's not that was one of the thump bats.
that's
Andrew
fair.
Heaney had a good game, but I don't think that stays for a while. Evaldi
DeGrom,
hasn't.
Perez are both fantastic. The bullpen's somehow good.
They are
Outside of
very good.
Taylor
But,
Hurd.
I could
but
I knocked the Rangers just out on both of my lists.
Yeah. I'm not sold on their starting pitching
Oh.
outside of the top 2. I don't think that Heaney keeps it up. I don't think that Evaldi holds it up. I don't think that is John Gray still in the rotation?
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah. He's solid. I think he's a good number 3 actually. But I think if there's anyone that's gonna be the most consistent, it's gonna be him. I'm worried about the other 2 guys. And I do think that this team, like the Orioles, came out on a very hot streak, and I don't know if they're gonna, maintain that for a full season. I think their offense proved to be good to start the season, but they've been, shut down by some questionable, pitching rotations to start the season. I'm a little worried if that continues or not this season.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Nah, I think I'm good. I'm excited. I'm excited to actually do the postseason next week where we're all 3 of us are voting on it.
My final thoughts are, if the Giants thought they were on an even day every day, they would be the best team in baseball. But they just cannot remember that they're on an even day or an odd day, and so sometimes they play really good, and then they forget the next day. I'm telling you, if they can trick themselves into thinking that it's an even day every day, we will be the best team in baseball. That's all. Thank you for listening. Anything else, Brad? Go Giants.
That was horrible. As you'll notice, the San Francisco Giants weren't in this week's overall power rankings, and there's a reason for that, as they sit in 4th in the National League West. Thank you all for listening to the 4A Baseball Podcast. If you want to get a nice little visual of these power rankings, they'll be on our social medias out tomorrow, or I guess today, because this will come out on a Friday. You'll see them out at 5 p.m. Eastern time on a Friday. If you want to interact with us at all social media links will be in the description below. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, group me. No, we don't have a group me.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening to the 4A Baseball Podcast. We will see you all next time. Peace in our time.